Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you are watching this video, it's likely that you have an interest in becoming a police officer. So I wanted to share two things with you as you work on achieving that goal. The two things I want to cover with you are the timeline that you need to allow yourself from the time you either graduate college or leave the military or the career you're in right now and try and transition into law enforcement. And then I want to do a general overview of the application process. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that I'm speaking from my experience as being a peace officer in Texas. Although I also went through the application process in Colorado and it was very identical. Most places in the country will have something like this. There may be some slight differences, but my experience does come from those two states. Also, if there's something that I cover that you want more details about, or maybe something I didn't cover, leave me a comment and I'll make a video about it. And while we're here, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Okay, so you need to give yourself 6 months at a minimum from the time you separate from whatever you're doing now to complete the entire process. 6 months is a good window. That is about the average in most places. Some are a little quicker, some are a little longer. You should have some sort of a budget set up so that you can survive, without a job for just a little while that process takes place. So if you are in the military, it's okay to contact the department maybe up to 8-9 months before you separate. Find out when the next academy is or the planned academy is. Let them know when you plan on ETSing, and then you can start the process. Same thing for college. Don't wait till graduation before you start applying. Apply 6 months before you finish. So let's start the application process. So more than likely, the first step is gonna be an entrance exam. In most cities, it's gonna be called a civil service exam. This is a general aptitude test that has different subjects, and the subjects vary from department to department, but you should expect something related to reading comprehension, maybe some math, sometimes some map reading, spelling, and that's about it. It's not a difficult test. However, it is very, very important that you study for this test. And again, I'll go into detail in another video, but don't go to the bookstore and buy the police entrance exam because that's going to be very general. What I recommend you do is contact the department you want to work for and see if they can tell you what topics are in the test. So you don't want to study any map reading if that's not in there. Okay, it's really important that you do as well as you can on this test, because the application process moves forward based on your rank, and your rank starts with how high you score on the test. So if you score the highest on the civil service exam, you will be the first name that moves down the pipeline until something bumps you out. Okay, so that's the test. Normally this next step, which is sometimes done that same day or the next day, is a physical fitness test. That can be anything like push-ups, sit-ups, maybe a 1.5 to 2 mile run. Some departments have an obstacle course that you need to complete within a certain time. And when I say obstacle course, it's generally just, maybe going over a fence, pulling a dummy, not anything like rope climbing or anything like that. And that information you can usually get from the website of the department you want to work for, or give them a call. And once you finish the physical fitness test, the next part is going to be your personal history statement. This is one of the most important things that you have to do, and you have to do it quickly and accurately. So what this is, and this is going to be the snapshot of your life. And they're going to use this to conduct your background investigation. So what they're going to need from you are a list of everybody that is in your family. Now, this varies again a little bit from department to department, but some departments are going to need all of your immediate family. Some are going to need, a little more extended family, and they'll need, names, addresses, phone numbers, emails to all of those different people. They're going to need everywhere that you have worked. Again, who your supervisor was, some sort of a contact number for that person. This is where you're gonna list any issues you may have had in your past, legal issues, anything like that, drug use that may have been in your past. It's everything basically about you. And when you do this, make sure that you save everything in a Word document. Don't just fill out the paperwork that you get from them and turn it in, because if you apply for another department, you don't want to have to go back and get all of that information again. So save it in a Word document. That way you can just plug it into the different applications that you fill out. Also, if you do apply to multiple departments, and you should, in fact, that's probably one of the questions is, have you applied to other departments? The reason they ask that is because they are going to check what information you gave them. So don't say in one application that you smoked marijuana once 5 years ago and you know you're lying, and then in this application you decide to be truthful and say you smoked 25 times, in your life, and the last time was 1 year ago, 6 months ago. Because they're gonna check that and they're gonna see that you're lying and they're gonna drop you. After that is when they're gonna start your background investigation. This is a time where a lot of people get frustrated or anxious because the background investigator is going to use the information that you provided and start calling people, but you're not gonna really get much feedback from them, which is good. No news is good news. Okay, when they start contacting you, that's usually because there's an issue. They either need to get more information about a person, they couldn't reach somebody, they need clarification on something that somebody told them. Let the investigator do what they have to do, and try not to contact them as much. Also, anybody that you list in your personal history statement for your background investigation, especially people that you're listing as references, let them know that you've done that. And if it's somebody that maybe you haven't talked to in a while, for example, if you were in the military and you list your platoon sergeant or your company commander from 5 years ago, let them know what you've done in the past 5 years. Give them a little reminder of what you did for them. Remind them of all the good stuff that you did. That way they don't have to, think about it on the spot, or when the background investigator calls, they're trying to remember who you are, and it makes it seem like this person doesn't even really know you. After that, maybe the oral boards. Sometimes they do them before all of this, sometimes they do them after. It just varies by department, but for your interview, make sure you study. There's no reason to go into this interview, this oral board, unprepared. There's tons of free resources on YouTube, just on Google, that can help you answer the questions that you may be asked. Be prepared for some strange oral boards as well. One of the ones that I did, was kind of a role-playing type of deal, where they gave me a scenario and I actually had to stand up and hold my hand, like a gun, and act out stuff and yell and stuff like that. That was a high pressure interview for sure. They had some memory exercises where they gave you a sheet of paper and you had to memorize a list of things that were on there and then match it to something else. So there's not much, I guess, really that you can do to practice that, but you definitely can practice a lot of the basic interview questions. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths, weaknesses? Why do you want to do this job? Stuff like that. So after the oral boards might be the polygraph. This is also something that stresses a lot of people out. The best advice I can give you for the polygraph, just be honest, be as calm as you can, go in rested. Also, don't try and cheat the test. Don't go to any websites about putting pins in your shoes and biting the inside of your mouth and all. Just be honest. After that is going to be the psychological exam. The psychological exam is usually a book of 600-700 questions that you have to answer. It's usually, just a fill in, just bubble test. And the questions are weird, but once you're done, they look at it, and it's not like a graded test. It's more to see how you think, I guess, or if you are a kind of a weird person. After the test is done, the results are reviewed by a psychologist, and they'll talk to you about it. If somehow they determine that you're kind of a nut job, they tell you, they talk to you about it. Luckily that never happened to me, so I really don't know what happens if you don't do well on that test, but yeah, just answer honestly and you should be fine. And after that, really the only other step is a medical exam. The medical exam is just general health. See if you are good to go, make sure there's no hidden stuff that maybe you didn't know about because you haven't been to the doctor in 5 years or whatever. Make sure your heart's good and all this other stuff. And as long as you pass that, which, hopefully you will by this point, you are done with the application process. The packets are put together, they're sent to the chief or the sheriff or whoever the hiring authority is. That person makes their selection of who gets conditional job offers, and those offers go out, and then you are in the next police academy. Again, guys, this was a quick overview of a very in-depth process. I would like to do more of these if there's enough interest. If you want to know what it's like being a police officer, being in field training, being a rookie police officer, just kind of what it's like in general being a police officer, let me know and I'd be more than happy to make videos. Once again, if you're new here, I'd appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and hit that notification bar so you can be updated as soon as I make a new video. And I will see you at the next one. Bye.